We did it. We finally did it. We cured balding.
Oh God. It actually worked. Good job, Chief. This is great. Very soon, they'll all be happy.
People need to know that we managed to solve it.
Yeah, you're right. But who's gonna tell them?
Most diseases are physical in nature. They incapacitate you, cause you measurable pain. But then, there are cosmetic issues. They don't put you in a hospital bed, nor do they threaten your life, but they do chip away at your mental health and cause immeasurable pain. Male pattern baldness is one such issue. It doesn't incapacitate you physically, but bit by bit, it eats away at your self-esteem, and yet it rarely gets any serious representation in society. Why? Because it's just balding. Compared to everything else, it can seem insignificant or superficial. And yet, these cosmetic issues are exactly where big pharma companies do their most aggressive marketing. And it's where the most number of scam and viral headlines tend to pop up. The hair loss and regrowth industry is worth around $8 to $10 billion. But a lot of that comes from selling false hopes. Since the 1950s, a new headline has popped up every few years, boldly claiming that balding has been cured. Well, Japanese scientists have even released a music CD claiming that it regrows your hair if you listen to it. Usually, that's all it is, a sensational headline. And if you've been scouring the internet lately, you've probably come across the latest of these.
Scientists from UCLA might have just made a real step towards curing male pattern baldness.
You guys don't understand the magnitude of this.
Baldness can now be fixed forever.
It's called PP405.
With Scout around 5%, it genuinely feels like we're entering a new era of hair science.
Now, I know you're wondering whether it's just another false hope, but even if it wasn't, even if male pattern baldness has been cured, the question is whether or not this drug will find its way to you before it's too late for your scalp. And to understand that, we kind of have to look at the journey a drug takes from being discovered in a lab to arriving at your local pharmacy. So, let's dive in. This is Nikhil. He's 22 years old. And this is also Nikhil at 23. This is him at just 25. As you can see, he's been dealt the bad hand of androgenetic alopecia. Studies have consistently shown that men going through it report worse quality of life, higher anxiety and depression scores, and more social avoidance compared to non-balding peers. Globally, 25% of men experience hair loss before the age of 21. By 35, it's estimated to be around 66%. By 50, about 85% report experiencing either thinning or outright hair loss. Recent data also suggests that over 50% of Indian men experiencing hair loss are under the age of 25. That's a lot of people suffering in silence. Add to that, baldness in media has always been associated with villainy or weakness. Think Lex Luthor, Thanos, Voldemort, Kancha China, RDX, and many more.
Get that bastard!
Luckily, a few bald men have honed the tough guy archetype and helped normalize the look. The Rock, Jason Statham, Vin Diesel, my dad, and my personal favorite. But that's only normalizing the bald look. However, for Nikhil and countless others like him, it's not being bald that bothers him. The real pain comes from the process of balding, present continuous. This is the Hamilton-Norwood scale, and it depicts the 7 stages of balding. As a man progresses to the next level, they can often feel like their social perception has regressed by 1. Unless, of course, they're surrounded by love. See, it's only when Nikhil speaks to his therapist that he finally lets down his walls and opens up about what he goes through. When so many people started pointing out his crown, he started to wear a hat. Now, anytime someone reaches for it, he flinches. He now actively avoids standing under spotlights because the thinning of his hair gets revealed in detail. Sweat-inducing sports are no longer part of his routine, neither does he enter the pool despite his friends' insistence. Why? Because the wet hair exposes all the empty spaces. In any new social encounter, all it takes is one glance at his hairline. He'll notice that, but disregard the glances at his neck, shoulders, hips, his shoes, anything. All he can think about is that they clogged his receding hairline. From there on, his brain will keep amplifying the anxiety. This isn't just Nikhil's story, it's the lived reality for so many people. We did a video talking about the prevalence of colorism in India, and a lot of people wanted us to talk about balding. So many reached out and shared their personal stories. Many of them were under 18, and they rarely have anyone listening to their plight.
So it started when I was studying in class 11. I saw my first grey hair and it was concerning.
I had great hair as a kid. I used to rock a ponytail back in college.
People used to like my hair. Like back in colleges, I really used to have good hair. But then now they are like now white, wearing a cap or stuff like that.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I've had a woman point it out to me once, and I'm sure she didn't mean anything by it, but it hurts a little, you know. It's a soft spot.
Once there was a Rapido driver, so he just dropped me in my home. So he gave a small talk saying like, hey, I think you should get married soon because you're already balding and you're just saying you're 23 years old.
Slowly when I passed when I passed class 12, then I realized that I should do something.
In fact, I went to a doctor once and she mentioned it as a disease and I had to stop her there. I was like, dude, bro, first of all, that's a phenotype. It's not a disease. Someone having a smaller hair is not a disease. It's a phenotype.
I went for a doctor and he recommended, no, इतना परेशान होने की बात नहीं है. It just study stage, थोड़ा stress हो गया है. He said कि just apply oil, like a नारियल oil with प्याज का रस something. I applied it for 2 years. Nothing happened.
In general, it was something I kept to myself, but I think as I'm growing older, I'm also meeting other men who are going through it with me.
I went through a phase where I felt ki, dude, I don't want to talk about it. But now I'm like, I have talked about it and I don't think it's as important anymore.
Apart from that, my mother and father, they never cared कि है नहीं है. वो बोलते थे खानदान में हमारे पास नहीं रहते, तेरे पास कहाँ से आएंगे?
So I have this recurring dream. Maybe a wish, I don't know. It's many years down the line, maybe like 2036, and balding has finally been cured. I have a beautiful wife who's at home and she's cooking dinner for me. Something Asian, maybe. I'm exhausted from work. I get back home and she opens the door and I'm standing right there with a full head of hair. And she smiles because I'm pretty. You know? Yeah, that'd be nice.
Now Nikhil is already at stage 3. From hanging upside down to drowning his scalp with onion juice, breaking eggs on his head, rubbing his nails together, he has tried everything. And yet, nothing has worked. Which begs two very distinct questions. First up is the age-old question that many of you keep asking us. How the hell do you make these damn visuals? And this is how. We do it with just the click of a button. Once more. Not bad, is it? Okay, no, it's not through this button. We do it by using the insane tools available inside Higgs field. That's how we brought Nikhil's story to life. He's the representation of all of you going through this issue. And here's how we created him. We built a real-life version of Nikhil's character using Higgs field's AI Influencer Studio, where you start with a base, then dial everything in, the face, the skin texture, the oddities, the imperfections, and yes, the more specific you get, the better it performs. And you can watch the process in real time. Just customize the look, generate your videos, and then marvel at how these AI personas are slowly captivating social media users, racking up millions of views, and even becoming heroes in YouTube videos. Higgs Field lets you build a viral-ready digital persona from scratch, one that can post 24/7, never ages, never flakes, and one that brands are already paying attention to. So if you want to try your hand at some of these crazy experiments in a safe and ethical manner, check out Higgs Field from the link in description. Now back to our story. The second question that arises is, since none of the remedies that Nikhil has tried has worked, what does work? Now, the culprit that causes balding is called dihydrotestosterone or DHT. It's a byproduct of testosterone itself, and it binds to receptors in your hair follicles over time, causing them to produce thinner and shorter hair with each cycle until eventually they just stop growing at all. And this is not specific to humans. Chimpanzees have been observed dealing with balding. Even stump-tailed macaques go bald as they age. Meanwhile, we've observed that African spiny mice can regenerate hair efficiently, and the wolverine frog can regenerate damaged skin and bone tissue with remarkable speed, which just shows that hair growth and loss is governed by fundamental biological switches. In other words, it's possible for us to learn how to control those switches. So at least on paper, an absolute cure for balding is coming our way. But for now, we only have a few temporary solutions. First up is minoxidil, a topical solution that works better for women than men. But even so, the results are modest. So an average healthy scalp has about 150 to 200 hairs per centimeter square. Someone experiencing balding typically has around 80 to 120 hair per centimeter square. Studies report that minoxidil improves that number by 18 to 26 hair for men and 20 to 30 hair per centimeter square for women.
I have tried a lot of remedies. My mom keeps suggesting me. I've tried minoxidil, but I think some of this didn't work out to me. Like minoxidil, it just increases your hair count a little bit. It won't get your old hair days back, and it's very toxic for pets.
Now, Nikhil has a cat that he loves more than himself, so this is a no-go for him. Next, you have finasteride. Launched in 1997, it was originally a tablet meant for shrinking the prostate. But Merck, a powerhouse pharmaceutical company, realized one of its side effects was hair growth. Why? Because the drug basically inhibits DHT production, and reports reveal that it's successful for about 80% of men with male pattern baldness. Now, this side effect would go on to generate the company hundreds of millions annually.
And it's a lifelong subscription. I have to keep taking it for the rest of my life. Pretty much every celebrity which I have seen, like who had lost their hairlines and got it back later on, I'm pretty sure they're on this stuff.
Generally, the idea with finasteride is that your systemic hormonal levels of DHT will be reduced, and that will also reduce the levels that are going up the scalp. And yeah, I think there's a 1 or 1.5, slightly above 1% of chance of you getting symptoms like ED, symptoms like arrhythmia, all those things.
So, while effective, it comes with its own share of side effects. Unfortunately for Nikhil, he fell into the category of the 20% of people for whom the drug is ineffective. Finally, you have the holy grail solution, a hair transplant. Dermatologist Norman Orentreich discovered that follicles plucked from the back and the sides of the scalp tend to keep their resistance even after you move them to balding areas. And this discovery led to the hair transplant market, which is estimated to be $7 to $8 billion.
I consider it as well, but 3 to 4 lakhs on a hair transplant seems a lot.
Now, unfortunately, Nikhil's bank balance does not find this solution also appealing. Beyond this, most treatments are just blown out of proportion or borderline scams. So please, if you're going through this issue, do thorough research. Be skeptical and find a trustworthy doctor who can guide you. Now, Nikhil is stuck. None of these solutions work for him, and he's slowly advancing to stage 4, so his window is closing. Which brings us to...
After decades of limited options for male pattern baldness, a new tropical drug, Ireland-based Cosmo Pharmaceuticals, class Coteron 5%.
So remember finasteride? The problem with it is that it reduces DHT production across your entire body, not just your scalp. Now for some, that leads to hormonal imbalances and other side effects. Clascoterone takes a different approach. Instead of reducing DHT everywhere, it blocks the receptors right at the follicle. So it's completely localized, means no imbalance or systemic interference. Cosmo just released their phase 3 trial results, and the data is a little vague but seemingly significant. If you want to see it yourself, pause now. Then there's
PP405.
PP405. PP405. Is this really the end of hair loss?
This one's quite interesting. Researchers at UCLA discovered a molecule that can reactivate dormant hair follicle stem cells. Not suppress DHT, not block receptors, actually wake up follicles that have gone quiet. It's a completely different pathway and mechanism. They just released their phase 2 human trial results in mid-2025. In it, 31% of participants showed greater than 20% increase in hair density in just 8 weeks. Meanwhile, the placebo group showed no improvement. That is promising, really promising. Okay, so we have 2 potential cures, maybe a few others brewing in the background that haven't yet made headlines, but they still have a long road ahead. After clearing the human trials, they'll need FDA approval to launch in the US, and for it to reach your local pharmacy, they need approval from the CDSCO, India's drug regulatory body, which basically requires winning trials to prove the drug works on Indian genetics too. All of this takes time, and while there's no way to know the exact timeline, we can reasonably estimate that clascoterone will only hit the Indian market by 2028 or 2029. Meanwhile, PP405 will likely make it only by 2029 or 2030. And even that's being optimistic. But it's not even the weight that's going to be the biggest hurdle for so many, because when these drugs do arrive, they're going to be expensive, really expensive. For as long as the patent is alive, the company controls the price, which is bad news for Nikhil. In fact, companies often use a little trick called evergreening to keep extending those patents. It's a neat trick. You simply develop a slightly new version of the same old drug and argue that your patent needs to be extended. Usually, it's a new delivery mechanism for the drug, a slow release formulation, or even a combination with another molecule. Whatever it takes to extend the patent window and rake in profits. But luckily, there is a silver lining. See, India's patent laws are ingeniously designed. From the 1970s to 2005, India deliberately did not allow product patents on medicine, only process patents. What that means is, if you can figure out a different manufacturing process to produce the same molecule, you can legally sell it, even while the original patent is active elsewhere. This is why Indian pharma became world-class at reverse engineering. It wasn't piracy, it was policy. A strategy to get medicine to 1 billion people who couldn't afford Western prices. Post-2005, we updated our laws. So product patents do exist now. We're not in the golden era anymore, but we still have tools that most countries don't. Mainly, Section 3D, a provision that blocks patents on minor modifications. So no evergreening gets past us. There's also no patent linkage, which means Indian generic companies can prepare their versions in advance, ready to launch the moment a patent expires or a licensing deal is struck. So big pharma companies voluntarily license us to manufacture generics because they'd rather get some royalty from it than fight expensive legal battles and lose the market entirely. Which means the generics could come a lot before the patent expires. And when more generics flood in, prices can drop by up to 85%, which is great news for Nikhil. Even so, that's still 4-5 years away at best and a decade or so at worst. And that's the kind of time that Nikhil does not have. Look, I've been using Nikhil as a substitute to break down the timeline, but if you have watched the video all the way till now, then I'm probably talking about you. You are the one playing this waiting game. And maybe the gamble could pay off, or maybe the drug never sees the light of day. You never know with these things. Which is why it might be more strategic to invest in a sure shot cure that has been available to you since the very beginning.
Come on, just do it. Yeah.
Once I go in there, I can't go back, and it's so, I know, but it's so hard to like.
It looks better than I remember. Cool.
So there's this subreddit called Our Bald, and it might be the most wholesome corner of the internet. Every post is the same. A guy showing his clearly past the point of no return thinning hair, asking, "Is it time?" And the top reply is always the same acknowledgement, "Welcome to the club." Look, maybe you're someone dealing with acne. Maybe you have broad hips. Maybe you're short or have a big forehead, a voice you don't like, or a sixth finger. Or maybe you have male pattern baldness. And that's okay. It might take a while, but eventually everyone realizes exactly that it's okay. The more you lean into this new identity, the more you normalize it for yourself and for others. Take my word for it, there's a 75-year-old version of you currently looking back at your life, wanting to tell you that it really didn't matter as much as you thought it would. You've lived most of your life with an identity defined by your hair, but the 75-year-old you, that person has lived most of their lives bald. And they are defined by an identity that has nothing to do with their hair. They let go of the worries of balding long ago. They chose not to chase genetic beauty. No, they focused on attraction, which is the sum of the choices you make. They chose to focus on their dress sense, on their physical health, on their thoughtful gestures, and most of all, the manners they present. At some point, they learn that it's better to stop worrying about what you can't control and start focusing on what you can. And they're hoping that you learn to do the same a lot earlier than they did.
Let's say the cure for balding was invented. Would you take it?
It depends, but yeah, even in this point of time, I'm like, if I start getting more older, I would want to get back my hairs again. So
I think I'm okay with balding, but I just feel hats are a better look for me at the moment right now.
I got bald, complete bald, for 2 years. कि भी रहेगा नहीं तो टेंशन क्या है? And that one step got me the confidence कि कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, right? और उसके बाद से बाल आ रहे हैं, नहीं आ रहे हैं, है नहीं है, ट्रीटमेंट करानी है नहीं करानी है, doesn't matter. Time came, like I went to see a girl for my marriage, and what she said, I don't care कि तुम्हारे बाल हैं कि नहीं हैं. I was like, बस यही whole point था.
Honestly, I would take it because having the feeling of having hair back is like really good. So I really want to experience how it feels like people starting to look, girls starting to look. So it's something which I've never felt till now. So I will really love to experience that again.
ये इशू लगता नहीं मुझे at first place कि ऐसा कुछ है. It's like a natural process. जैसे हम old हो रहे हैं उसी तरह हम hair भी lose करते जा रहे हैं. Someday we'll die. तो hairs are also dying.
That's right. All of your favorite heroes now have hair, and guess what? You can now too. Introducing HairPods, the ultimate fix for all your balding needs. And if you want premium hair on that shiny scalp of yours, introducing HairPods Pro Max. You can get them now for $7,999 and go from bald to not bald.
I started seeing signs of alopecia way back in 2006 when I underwent a lot of stress.
Sorry, we are actually doing a video only on male pattern baldness.
You're doing a video on baldness, right?
Yeah.
Baldness is a more serious problem in women's case than it is in a man's case.
Yeah, sure. So if we do a video on female pattern baldness, we will call you right back.
Are you sure I could share my experience with you?
Thank you so much.
Sure?
Yeah. Very sure.